Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the AB1GK Podcast with myself, Martin Sanders, and our brand owner, Asmir Begović. And today, I can't believe I'm here doing this podcast. I've got two of my favourite goalkeepers in a podcast, and I follow both their careers from the very, very start. I recognise these two by gloves, really. Back in the day when I was selling goalkeeper gloves, it was all about what Ben was wearing and what Asmir was wearing. So to have them both on the podcast today, I'm absolutely privileged to have you both here, Asmir.
Well, absolutely. I told you, Martin, season 3 was only going to get better. And here we are. We've got the one and only Ben Foster joining us on the podcast.
Ben Foster, the cycling GK, the man behind the FozCast.
Yeah, the golf, everything. The total package. Ben, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, lads. Yeah, you're right. A bit of all sorts we do now. We dib in on everything we do. We're having a nice time. It's busy, but it's a nice time. But it's nice to be here, lads.
We love it. Absolutely enjoying life. That's what it's all about. But Fozzie, we're going to get into your goalkeeping career, obviously your inspirations, how it all started. We'll talk about everything in this podcast. But what we like to always do is go back right to the beginning. What made young Ben Foster get into goalkeeping?
I had two older brothers. That was all it was. I used to just get bullied by them. Genuinely got bullied by them. They were outfield players. They had no interest in going in goal. And because I was always one of the taller kids in my year, whatever, they just sort of stuck me in goal, and that's where it went from there. I had a really unconventional route into football, to be perfectly honest here. You know, I sort of left school at 16. I wasn't signed to an academy. I did nothing like that. I went to college. One point I remember at sort of about 16 years old, I was playing for. This is the whole point of it. I tried out for my college football team as a goalkeeper, and they already had a decent goalie, and I was like, no mate, you're not going to be good enough, so we've already got a goalie, you'll be number 2, or you could just try and play outfield if you want. And that's where it all started, really. From there I was like, no, do you know what, I'm going to start doing a bit. So I think I had a bit of a growth spurt. I think my body just started connecting and making more sense to me, and then I went off, started playing Sunday league football, and it just grew so quickly. I'm talking within a matter of months, so quickly, everything just, like I say, connected. Started doing really well, got into the college team, started playing for my local non-league team. And then, just sort of started stepping up and up and up. And it wasn't until a scout from Stoke City saw me one cold Tuesday night playing for the under 21s or under 18s, I think it might have been. And then my career just sort of took off from there.
I love hearing our goalkeepers start out in the game, like Asmir's story. Everyone's very similar. Everyone's got a slightly similar story. Did you ever like somebody, Ben, that you looked up to when you sort of first got into goalkeeping? Were you looking at a certain goalkeeper? Oh, I'd love to be like him.
There were a couple at that time in the Premier League. There was, for some reason, Pavel Cernicek. You remember Newcastle goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Sadly not with us anymore. But Pavel Cernicek, I used to just love him. He was like a little cat. He was pure reflexes, a little bit sort of like Shea Given, really, I suppose. But the main one for me was Peter Schmeichel. I just loved everything about Peter Schmeichel. Big, brave, and sort of brash, scary character. I love the way he dominated everything. You could see his centre backs. You had really, really seriously senior, experienced centre backs in front of him, and yet he would still just boss them around. Yap Stam, you saw him yelling at Yap Stam, and I remember thinking, "Wow, you got to be some guy, you have." So that him, obviously David Seaman as well, I'd throw in there as well. That was, I'd say, goalkeeping wise, that was probably somebody who I looked at and thought, I would like to sort of try and base my game on being a little bit like that.
Ben, I mean, one of the things, because we have a lot of young goalkeepers listening to this, and parents and everyone involved, and one of the great messages that we try to always bring on this podcast is that there's different ways of becoming a professional or making a career of it. And I think you're the prime example. I mean, did you ever get, in your younger age, did you ever overthink it? Did you ever get discouraged and thought maybe, this isn't something for me?
Yeah, for sure, mate. I remember when I remember being 14, 15, even turning sort of 16, and I was always a decent sort of like, I used to play in goal for a Sunday league team. I'd play outfield for a Saturday league team. And I was always decent in goal, one of the bigger lads anyway, one of the better goalkeepers. And there were a few times where I could have gone on trial or gone maybe play from a county or something like that. And I remember at that time just thinking, I don't really want to do that. I don't, whether I was afraid of the added pressure or whatever, but I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to make that step up. I really just enjoyed playing with my mates, having a nice time with a smile on my face. And I felt that was where I did my best work, was when I've got a smile on my face and I'm just doing it for the laugh. That's all I wanted to do, really. I didn't really want to take it seriously. So yeah, for sure, I've had so many doubts along the way. Even, you even fast forward to signing for Man United, and you've got this real sort of imposter syndrome. I was at Stoke City at the time, and I hadn't even played for Stoke City. Big old Tony Pulis was the manager, the legend that is Tony Pulis. He's not going to give a young goalie a chance in goal. No chance. He likes big, experienced goalies that can, kick it a mile and shout at everybody. So I hadn't played for Stoke City. I get this move to Manchester United, and I was just thinking, they've made a mistake. They've surely made a mistake. They're going to see me in training soon, and they're going to realise and think, what have we done? Like, what on earth have we done? So yeah, for sure, I've always had doubts. And any goalie out there, I don't care who you are, genuinely, I mean this as well. You could be under 15s, 16s, 21s. You could be playing in the Premier League week in, week out, and you have doubts that come into your head all the time. That's just what comes with being a goalie. That comes with the territory. Is you could misplace a back pass and put it into row Z, yeah? For about 10 minutes after that, you're thinking, nobody pass me the ball back. Nobody pass me the ball back because I don't want to shank it to row Z again. It's just the way that it works. It's goalie's brain for you. So it's natural. It is. It's completely natural. The key to it is just trying to learn, basically, how to deal with these feelings and thoughts. And when they come in, and just sort of doing your best at going, yeah, whatever, and just trying to move on as quickly as you can.
Asmir, edge moments in your career the same as that?
Oh, absolutely, Martin. Absolutely. I mean, as Ben rightly says, that the goalkeeping brain and the head is an incredible place.
It's a mental game, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And it's so mental. It's who has the most capacity and in endurance to really stick these things out. I was probably that same age. I think about 18, 19. I've shared the story a couple times. And, we talked the other day, Ben, about David Cole's, how he made my career.
Yeah.
And how he put me together. Obviously took me apart, tore me apart, but really took me to the next level and put me back together. But when he actually took me apart, what he didn't know is that I was thinking, well, I don't know how to keep goal anymore. I genuinely didn't know how to take a cross. I missed every cross. I'm thinking about all the footwork is telling me at which point to attack the ball. And the next thing I know, the ball's past me. So all of these things get to your head and you think, like you already say, you think, I don't know how I'm going to move forward. I don't know, I really don't know how this is going to look in the future. And you have those doubts, and I'm thinking I'm going to pack this in. I might as well, because I'm not doing anything productive. And then eventually, if you persevere and you keep going through it, they start coming together. Things make sense again. And then you start playing the game and off you go. But there's doubts. There's no doubt about it, whether it's an injury, whether you feel so far away from it, because they can be lonely places. You feel away from the game, all your teammates, and everyone, Ben. So I love your perspective on it, because really it's the truth. I think it's really important to acknowledge these things rather than actually hide them away and discard them and think, well, they don't exist. So I think your way of thinking is fantastic.
Quickly, sorry, jumping on what you said there as well, we've had so many times where we've had like a younger goalie come and train with us with the first team, and you're talking maybe 15, 16, 17, even 18, 19 years old, right? And at that age, they're still learning. They're learning so much, right? They're learning so much about technique, about play, about what happens if this happens. And you're talking minute details. You're talking minute adjustments. It could be your hand position, foot position, body position, head position. It could be absolutely anything, right? But they still haven't learned it yet. We, as a 40-year-old goalie, I still pick up stuff every single day in training and matches, and you're learning all the time. And we have these kids come and join us, and they're doing really well for their youth team. They're playing and making saves. It's just, they're on autopilot, on absolute autopilot. And then they come and join in with us, and you try and give them helpers and pointers and just try this. And you'll see them the next day in training, and they deteriorate a little bit. And the next day they deteriorate a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, until they have to say, right, you need to go back with your youth team and just play football. But the reason why they've done it is because they just start thinking. And your brain just gets in the way, because you're constantly just thinking about, well, he told me to have my hands up a little bit there, and before he knows it, the ball's already smashed him in the face. Do you know what I mean? It is such a mental game being a goalkeeper is, and the best part of it is like if you can get to the point where you kind of have nailed the basics and the sort of even the details a little bit, just nailed the broader details. Once you get to that point, but most of the time you're about 30 years old when you get to that point, genuinely. Like it's only until for me personally, it wasn't until I got to about 30 years old where I thought, you know what, I think I'm doing all right now. I think I know what I'm doing. If I make a mistake in the game, then it's going to happen. It's as simple as that. I'll own it. I'll wear it. I'll say sorry to everybody, but it's going to happen. But I feel for some of these young kids sometimes. They come in and you fill their head with all these little details and notes and stuff, and their mind just gets boggled.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And I think, speaking of your head exploding, obviously, as you rightly say, you go from playing local football and doing all those different things. You go to Stoke City under Tony Pulis, where you have a good spell in your career, but you have a lot of loan moves again before your big move to Man United. I mean, how does that journey, Stoke City, how did that help, that experience help create the goalkeeper that obviously you've become?
Yeah, probably very similar to your experiences, Asmir, to be honest with you. I always just wanted to play football. I mean actual matches, games, competitive games where there's something on the line. So training, I've always enjoyed training, don't get me wrong, but I never get the buzz in training. I never get that full-on adrenaline, nervous butterfly buzz that you get from games. And I don't care whether it's playing in the Premier League, could be a cup final, it could be National League for Wrexham against whoever. You get those butterflies. When the game's about to kick off, you get those butterflies, you get the adrenaline boost, and you buzz off it. So when I was younger, all I wanted to do was just go and play football in front of people where there was some, like I say, actually something mattered. It was on the line. So I took loan moves to anywhere, mate. I would go non-league. I was going Stafford Rangers. I went Kidderminster Harriers, Tiverton Town. I was started at Racing Club Warwick in non-league. And I was just going places just to play football on a Saturday. You know, when I'm playing for Stafford Rangers, I'm not training with them. I'm just turning up on a Saturday afternoon and playing. So I'll train all week with Stoke, go and play from a Saturday afternoon. Same with Tiverton Town, train all week with Stoke, play on a Saturday afternoon for Tiverton Town. And that's what it was for me, is that I had to have an end goal for that week. I had to have something to be training for. Otherwise, it's like, what's the point? You know, I'm throwing myself around the goal and it hurts a little bit. And yeah, it's, you know, I'm enjoying it a bit, but I still want something to aim for. So once you get to the later in the week, especially on the Friday, it's like, right, it's game time now. I am going to drill in today. It's going to be fine details. Are going to be sharp as you like, ready for that game tomorrow. So that was always a driver for me. I just buzzed off the matches more than anything, and it was so important to go out on loan. Probably, like I say, probably the same as you, because you had some weird and wonderful loans, Asmir. It grows you up so much quicker than just being in training all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken about this, Martin and I, with many people in this podcast. It's essential, man, because there's only so much, as you're right to say. No matter what you do, there's only so much you can do in training. You can't teach everything in training, and obviously, part of your education, part of your journey, is playing games, and it doesn't matter the level. Obviously, the better you do, and the more experience you gain, you'll move up. That's no problem. You'll go up the levels. Yeah. It's not an issue, but obviously, you have to start somewhere. And one of your spells is your first spell at Wrexham. I mean, do you still remember that with fond memories?
Yeah, Wrexham was my first proper one, mate. So out on loan to a League One club. I'm the first choice goalie. It was my first real taste of like the football English pyramid, being in the Football League. And I remember my first game, there's like maybe 5,000-6,000 fans there. You can see what it means. The team are sort of struggling a little bit towards the bottom of the half of the table. Relegation's a genuine threat. There's a lot of pressure on the line. And that's where you start to see players really affect players. Do you know what I mean? Like this goes back to what you're saying. I've seen some world-class goalies in training, Asmir. I've seen some unbelievable goalies. But you put them in a match and their brain takes over, and that's the problem. The pressure gets to them, and they can't do what they can do in training. They're nowhere near it, in fact. They're miles off it. A goalie with like shattered confidence in a match is not worth anything. You may as well just sub him out. You know, I said that again, sorry, going off topic a little bit, but Ilya Millier for Leeds a few weeks back, you know, he was making mistake after mistake after mistake, the poor lad, because he's in a really bad place. He's obviously a top quality goalie. You can tell that. He's got absolutely everything. But the problem is, at this moment in time, he hasn't got the mentality because his confidence is so low, he's shot to pieces. He's overthinking absolutely everything, and he's making mistakes right, left, and centre. He was getting punished for absolutely everything, in fairness to him. But at that point, you have to just see it and go, do you know what? You have to come out of the team, mate. You have to. It's as simple as that. There's nothing you can do at this moment in time is going to get you back on track again. You just need time out of the team. It's as simple as that. So I don't care who your second choice goalie is. Just put him in. He's shot to pieces, the poor lad. I'm sure he'll come back stronger for it. Sometimes these things like they're a blessing in disguise, really. A little bit of a time out of the team, reassess everything, and then you should be good to go again. But yeah, what was the question? Oh, the Wrexham. Sorry, that was the question, wasn't it? Yeah, that was the massive one for me, mate. Was just playing week in, week out, and I suppose actually feeling part of the team, because when you're a young kid and you're around the fringes of the first team, it's great to be a part of it, but you don't fully feel part of the team. You don't feel like you're contributing or adding to where that team is in the league. Whereas when I went out on loan, I think I played maybe the last 18 games or something for Wrexham that season. Genuinely, you feel important. You feel like you're part of that team, and you're with teammates, and there's that camaraderie, and you're helping, and you're getting on with the fans, and that's what it was for me. I suddenly saw all that, and I thought, oh, I like this. I really like this. I like being part of the team. So yeah, we ended up winning a cup competition that year. That was what actually got me the Manchester United move. I was on loan at Wrexham, and Darren Ferguson, son of Alex Ferguson, was playing for us. He came to Alex Ferguson came to watch Darren Ferguson. I played really well that game. I was doing well in the loan move in general, really, and that was what paved the way to get a move to Manchester United. So I say to everybody, I say to all the young goalies, all the young kids that I come across at football, just go out on loan, mate. Just go out on loan. Bang the door down. Go and knock on the manager's door. And there's no way you should be disrespectful, no chance whatsoever. But you need to explain to him honestly and say, I just want to go out and play, boss. You know what I mean? Just send me out on loan, and I can show you what I can do out on loan, so that when I come back here, I want to play here too.
It's that opportunity just to contribute towards a team, isn't it? Help a team pick up points, and like you say, the confidence you gain from it's unbelievable. Then you move to Man United comes along. I'm really intrigued to know. I've heard the story a few times, but like for our listeners, how did it all come about? Did Alex Ferguson pick up the phone, or was it someone at the club?
Yeah, it was a funny one. So obviously, Darren Ferguson, I'm playing for Wrexham, and I think we had probably 5 or 6 games left of that season. And he kind of just pulled me after training one day. I was walking to my car, actually. I remember him doing it outside my car. And he said, "Man, what's happening with you at Stoke next year? I still have a year left on my contract at Stoke." And he said, I said, "Oh, I don't know, mate, to be honest. I think I'll probably go out on loan again, to be honest with you." Because like I say, Tony Pulis, God love him as well, he would never have played me. I was too young. I was 20 years old. He would never have played me. And I knew that, and that was fine. So I said, I'll probably end up going out on loan again. And he said, all right, well, listen, just bear it in mind. But, my dad's been really impressed with you. He's going to send a scout to come and watch you for the last, 5 or 6 games of the season. So just keep doing what you're doing, mate. You're doing absolutely amazing.
No pressure at all, huh? No pressure
Yeah,
at all.
no pressure at all. Yeah, absolutely fine. Cheers, Darren. Really appreciate that, mate. I was crapping myself. Honestly, I was absolutely crapping myself. Somehow managed to sort of keep it together enough for those last 5, 6 games to actually warrant getting the move. So when he said scout, by the way, he meant Tony Coton, like, the legendary goalie coach, Tony Coton. What a guy. So he was coming to watch me. But yeah, like I say, just did well enough to keep it going. And then nothing happened over the summer. Got back for pre-season training for Stoke City. Like you say, I was never going to be playing for the first team. And then rumours started floating about a little bit. And I was, some of my mates in the team that were the same age as me are like, "Is this Man United thing real?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. I ain't got a clue, to be honest. I ain't got a clue." Thinking Darren's already told me that Man United might be interested. And then eventually, I was playing darts with one of my friends, and we had Sky Sports News. We didn't have it in the change rooms at the time, but we had it outside in like the kit room. I think it was Winnie. It was in Winnie's kit room at Stoke City, Asmir. And one of the lads, it was Andy Wilkinson actually. Andy Wilkinson came running in and he went, "Fozzie, Man United have made a bid for you." And I was just like, "What?" I think I went bright red or something, and everybody just went, "What on earth?" I was like, "Oh my God." And that was it. Like, say that was on the Friday or whatever. I went to see the chief exec that day. He said, "Yeah, they've made a bid. It's a fantastic bid. We're going to accept it." And I think what's going to happen is you're going to go up to Carrington, Man United training ground tomorrow or Sunday, and you'll basically go and negotiate personal terms. And they got personal terms. Wow, mate, they could have offered me about 50p a week, and I'd have still signed it.
Did you feel like it was? And we kind of talked about this again. I know you and I talk a lot of different things, but certain moves came too soon in my career. Certain moves came a little bit in the wrong time. You don't obviously think about it. You go to Man United. There's no doubt you're never going to turn it down. But looking back at it now, do you wish it maybe happened differently, or are you grateful for the experience?
Yeah, I'm so grateful for the experience. I mean, I am. I'm so grateful for it. I would never have. I never would change anything. Genuinely, even throughout my whole career, to be honest with you, I'd never have changed anything. The way that it's planned out, the way that it's played out, no matter what it was, I've always learned from everything. So even the Man United move, just being associated with a club like Man United. I was in Belfast last week playing golf with my mates, and they're all Man United fans out there. And the amount of people who still remember me playing for Man United like 15 years ago, coming up saying, "Oh, Man United, love Man United. Oh, I love what you did." I'm thinking, I only played about 10 games, to be fair.
I
But
remember your
just being,
debut. I remember your
the
debut.
Birmingham game, Birmingham City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I filled everybody with false hope. I think there, Martin. To be honest with you, mate, everybody. I kept a clean sheet. We won 1-0. I actually played really well. To be
You
fair,
made a couple of good saves as well in that game.
yeah, a couple of decent saves. To be fair, it went really, really well. That was the season when Edwin actually broke his hand in the final pre-season friendly away at Bayern Munich, saving a penalty. So he saved the penalty, broke his hand in the process, and this was like the week before the season was due to start. So I started that season, and I think I ended up playing about 8 or 9 or 10 games or so. And then Edwin came back to fitness. And when Edwin was coming back to fitness, I remember thinking, oh God, Edwin's coming back to fitness. Like, I better keep doing what I'm doing. Like, and then the wheels sort of started to fall off a little bit, to be honest with you. The pressure just got to me. But even that, like, that just learning from that experience of knowing that when like the pressure was there and something was happening, I let it affect me at that moment in time. But taking it forward for the rest of my career, I always used to think, nah, pressure, mate, I'm not having it anymore. I'm not letting that do that to me. So I say United didn't work out for me, and I got to meet Edwin van der Sar. When I did, I learned so much from that guy. He is just an absolute gent, like a lovely man all over, like every bit of him, absolute top man. And as a goalie, he was just phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal. Talking about like dealing with pressure, that guy, bloody hell, I don't think he even knows what pressure is. Like honestly, he is so unflusterable. It was phenomenal. So I got to see that up close and personal. Like I say, it didn't work out, but I got to see this guy operate, and this is how you do it at the top level. So I was thinking, yeah, if I can't learn a bit from that, then what can you learn it from?
Well, I love that bit.
Go on, sorry.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love the way
he's
you put
brilliant.
that. I love the way you put that. And sorry to interrupt, but I think it's such a crucial point in the way you say there, because sometimes, as we say, the two things can be true. The fact is you need to go and play, all when you're younger, but also in certain environments, play or not play, you can still become a better player if you take all the information on. So,
Yeah.
as you rightly said, working with those high level people every day pushes you to be better in a different way.
Yeah, for sure. And I even like to say to some of the younger goalies out there who might be listening. Like we've worked with so many younger goalies, and you try and give them pointers and tips and stuff like that. And always, please, just always try and listen to experienced people. I remember when I was a kid, I used to think about, especially being like 19, 20, I used to think experience counts for nothing. It's about being young. It's about being energetic and springy, and you know what I mean, and being able to do all this physical stuff. And I'm quicker than you. I'm faster than you. And then as you get older, you realize, I think, nah, mate, experience is the king. I promise you it is. Experience is the king. It will hold you in so much better stead for any situations because you've already seen it before. You know how to deal with it. It's as simple as that. So if any older goalie is trying to help you, show you stuff, give you pointers, just do this, just do that, just listen to them. It's as simple as that. There's no coming back with, yeah, but I think you should. No, just listen to experience, mate. Experience is the king for sure.
Such an important point. And Asmir, you're doing that with the academies. You're making personal appearances regularly to these academies, and you just to be able to talk to like Ben yourself or someone like Asmir is vital for any young goalkeeper.
I think it's massive, Martin. I think it's massive. And sometimes, you know what, we've been there, done certain things, everything else, and people thinking they overcomplicate things sometimes. Actually, talking to parents and kids, it keeps me grounded as well to the grassroots game. And I love passing down any sort of information to the youngsters, but I think they sometimes get all their brain and everything in a bit of a twist and think about too many things. Really, it's just simple. That's what I love about Ben's journey. It's just enjoy, play, do your thing, do what makes you happy, and then later everything else will come and you'll deal with it as it comes. But don't start to overthink the room and think too far in the future and doing everything else. So I think it's important to pass that down. And as Ben really says, I think when I look back now, and I'm glad I listened to certain, because you pick up one thing. You might just pick up one thing from a coach or one thing from another goalkeeper, and I'll give you an example. Like Shaka Hislop, I was 16, 17, Portsmouth, training once or twice a week with the first team. And even just how to parry a ball, he would just give me certain like pointers on parrying a ball into a certain area. And I said, well, everyone says about catching, but he said, I wasn't sure. I dealt with it. And then later, and then maybe on Monday, we'll have a coffee and we'll talk about it. And I was like, what a wise thing to say. What a great thing to say. I mean, the guy could have maybe caught it, fumbled it. You never know, like whatever's going on. Just dealt with it there. I mean, obviously he's from Trinidad, so loose and easygoing. But what a like a simple piece of advice. And I still use that today.
Do you know what, right? Asmir, parrying, right? Parrying is an art form. Parrying is such a skill. I see goalies make saves sometimes, and I see them with their hand, and it's genuinely, the angle, the exact right angle, and how soft to hold that wrist, right, to make that save so that it goes that way and goes away from everybody, but also not in the goal, away from and round the post for a corner or out that way. But you are judging that in real time in a fraction of a second, and you have got to angle it a certain way, tense your hand a certain way. It's an absolute art form. I see commentators say, oh, it's a good save, or yeah, he could have held it, or he should have held it, or whatever. And I'm thinking, no, if you can actually read that save properly, the ball's bounced in front of him, he's angled his hand a certain way to sort of make, and I'm thinking, oh God, it's an absolute art form, mate. Parrying's underrated. Edwin was the king of parrying, by the way, in training. Genuinely, he would come out sometimes, and sometimes he weren't feeling training. He was 36 or 37 at the time, and he didn't need to train all the time because he just knew he was a match goalie. And he would come out, and he would very rarely catch much in front of him. Even here, that he would very rarely catch it. He would just softly bring it down. But he was the master, and I learnt it. I learnt it from him. Genuinely, you don't always need to catch that clean because it's very hard to catch it clean every time. He would soften it down. He would soften it down every single time, and then he would let it bounce, and then he would fall on it and grab it. And I'm just watching it going, that looks so much easier. And he's like, yeah, but why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you make it easier on yourself? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you make it easier on yourself? It's so good. So good.
That's what I mean. Just being around that guy, you learn so much. There you go.
Asmir, we've had a lot of goalkeepers come on this podcast speak about Edwin van der Sar, raved about him. Like he's the model pro.
Do you remember his half volley? Do you remember his half volley that he used to do
Incredible.
over the Rooney? Mate, every time he got the ball and you saw him sprinting out, right? I used to watch him sprinting out thinking, that's phenomenal. I want to do that. I want to be that guy. I didn't have the half volley at the end of it. I didn't have the volley at the end of it.
His distribution was really good as a goalkeeper, wasn't it?
It was outrageous. He used to join in with the outfield players, mate, in boxes and whatever it was. It was a big possession game. And he was just like an outfield player. He was so easy with the ball, so free with the ball. His head was always on a swivel. He knew exactly where everybody was. He was, mate. He was proper, mate. Proper.
Now getting to work. I mean, it's just priceless when you work with people like that, and especially maybe earlier in the career. It's incredible. It's incredible. You learn so much, and obviously you have a successful spell at Man United. You win trophies, but then obviously you made more of a decision to probably move on. I think obviously you moved to Birmingham first to probably play regularly, and obviously your Premier League career absolutely took off. What made that decision for you? Did you feel like you were obviously at a different stage of your career where you wanted to just go and prove yourself every single week in the Premier League?
Yeah, it was an easy decision, hasn't it? It was so easy as well. I remember the manager, Alex Ferguson, brought me into the office and he said, listen, I think it's probably best if you move on. I think everybody understands that it's probably not working out for you the way that it wanted to work it out for you. We've had an offer from Birmingham. It's a good offer. We think it's a good offer for us and a good offer for you. What are your thoughts? And I just went, oh no, brilliant. I love it. Birmingham, by the way, that's where I'm from. I'm from the Midlands anyway. So it was a chance to move back home. So I was living up in Manchester. I didn't really have like my family near me. I didn't have my friends near me. And then obviously you're in this goldfish bowl to then all of a sudden go into time for Birmingham City. I get to move home right round the corner from my friends, my family. And it's just the pressure was off. It was almost like this massive sort of pressure just went and lifted. And I knew I was going to be playing week in, week out in the Premier League for a team where we knew we had to be at it every single game. Because in the Premier League, unless you're one of the top 6 or 7 or 8, you have to be 110% every single game. And that's the bit that I enjoyed the most, really, was joining a Birmingham City. Then it went into a West Brom, it went into a Watford. But we were always that team where you had to give everything. Everybody had to work together to try and get that result on a Saturday afternoon. And yeah, that's where I feel like from signing for Birmingham City, I'd say that is where I felt most at home as a footballer, most at home as a professional footballer, is playing week in, week out, back in the Midlands, Birmingham City, then to West Brom. Yeah, it was brilliant, man. I think I saw a stat actually between 2010 and 2020. So in that 10-year spell, I think I had made the third most amount of Premier League appearances, I think, behind Jordan Henderson and James Milner. And it was quite literally because I was just enjoying. I was enjoying myself. I was enjoying playing on a Saturday afternoon. I had a smile on my face, and therefore I did my best work. I was making saves. It was all just coming natural to me.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I mean, I think and that's one of the biggest issues and challenges we talk about the professional game, is that putting all those pieces together, right? You might get a really fantastic professional opportunity where it's like a massive club and you play whatever it is, but maybe it doesn't suit the family. Maybe you have to travel. Maybe you have to do all these different things. So actually the fact, like you said, for all those years, you're in a really good spot. You have your family. They're happy. They're settled. And you just get to go to work and training every day and play the games without thinking too much. And I think that's such a great space to be in. And again, you work with one of the managers of West Brom, Tony Pulis, and you had a really good base of players. I mean, again, at West Brom, I mean, what a team. And the things you achieved, the Gareth McCauley's, James Morrison, Chris Brunt. I mean, tell us about that sort of group of players that you guys became.
Yeah, exactly that. There's loads more you could add into that. Shane Long, Graham Dorrans, play for people like that. Just real kind of down to earth, good, solid lads, good, solid human beings who, again, just wanted to do it the same way as I wanted to do it properly, work hard, and just mix in as a team. You're not going to win every single game. You're going to go through spells where it's disappointing and you should have done a bit better. But the majority of the time we would pick up results. It was as simple as that. Like I say, we stayed in the Premier League with probably a team budget much less than probably 80% of the rest of the Premier League. It genuinely was. It was just pure teamwork and people wanting to do it the right way. And to be fair, you know what it's like, Asmir, when you've got Tony Pulis, you've got Roy Hodgson, you've got managers like that who are the same sort of person, then you're all on the same page. So it's about building that team togetherness. We knew we had to run a bit harder and a bit faster and a bit stronger than most teams, because we get teams turn up to us. They've got more quality for sure. They have, but we've got more grit and graft and determination. It was fantastic, mate. West Brom. My kids are West Brom fans. I always look out for West Brom, and I always will do. To be fair, I owe them a lot. I've spent some of the best years of my career there. I'd like to think me and the fans at that football club got on really well, and they've got a special affinity for me, and I'll always have a special affinity for them too.
Ben, when you reflect on your professional career, your favourite, do you have a favourite time of your career that you played? Or is it, you obviously enjoyed all of it, but is there like if you take a little snippet, would that be it?
There's probably two, actually. There is probably two. It would have been the West Brom era. I love the West Brom era because I felt that was where I felt most comfortable, not only as a goalie, but as like a human being as well. I just kind of got to the point where I was just comfortable in my skin, really. I just used to think, no, I am me. I don't have to apologise for it. I'll just do what I want to do because that's what I am. I'm not a bad bloke, so I should be all right. And then leaving West Brom, I signed for Watford for initially 2 years. I'd say those first 2 years at Watford, I absolutely buzzed off because we had a very similar sort of team. We had a sprinkling of kind of Spanish flair and Italian flair. We had some unbelievable players: Roberto Pereira, Gerard Deulofeu, players like that, Etienne Capoue, Abdoulaye Doucouré. Real quality players. But then the backbone, the spine of the team was a British core, like of real solid lads like Tom Cleverley and Craig Cathcart, people like that. So I'd say the first few years at Watford for sure. But then, again, West Brom as well.
Ben, you give everyone an incredible insight into your time at Watford as well when you started the cycling GK. And I was always watching the videos and the camaraderie between all of you players that were really good. And it was a real good insight for us as fans to look inside it, you as a goalkeeper training, but also what was going on in and around the club. And I loved it. It was lockdown time, really. You're playing behind closed doors, but what a great insight it was for anybody. I think it's the best I've seen. You've seen all this stuff with Prime and loads of other documentaries, but this was real life. It was you filming it. I got to say, I loved it. I buzzed off watching it.
The thing is, it's me filming it, but it's me narrating it as well, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
You know, you could give a camera to one of those Netflix cameras or Amazon cameras to any of the players, but they're still not going to be able to narrate the whole day in a chronological order. And I think that's the part people enjoyed the most, is the bit that it's coming from my perspective, and I'm explaining absolutely everything. This is who this guy is. This is what he does. Oh, and then what we normally do is this, and then we'll go to there, and that's the bit that has probably never been done before, is that narration part of it as well.
Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely buzzed off it.
Yeah, a lot of people do, to be fair, mate. Everybody goes to the match day vlog.
And Ben, listen, as you rightly said, I think one of the coolest things for me is that, here's Ben Foster, who's been there and done it all. Played hundreds of Premier League games, done everything there is to do, and you also feel that side of you because you're putting yourself out there, right? A lot of people shelter themselves and don't want to share anything because people can look at one way or another. Bad things are going to happen. You lose games, you concede goals. So I thought it was really impressive, and obviously still is with everything you've done, is that you were willing to share that vulnerable side. You didn't say, I'm just going to, like I said, narrate, cut out, edit all the good stuff and leave all the bad stuff out. But actually, you were true to yourself and true to what happened in the game of football. And I thought that was really amazing and brave in a way as well.
Yeah, that's the bit, mate, that's the bit that was always kind of a bit of a bone of contention for probably some of the fans and some of the clubs. But I knew I was trying my best. I knew I was giving it everything I did. So even when we went away to Man City and got pumped 5-0, I'm still putting the vlog out because you know what? I've tried my best in that game. I've tried my best to make it the saves. It didn't work out. But do you know what? It sounds bad. Like, it doesn't sound bad. I don't care, to be honest with you. Life's bigger than football. It's bigger than football.
Yeah.
It's my job, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely enjoy it and love every single part of it. And it will be my job probably, hopefully, the next 10, 15, 20 years doing some sort of football. But that vlog will go out because I've done everything in the week to prepare properly. I've trained properly. I've eaten properly. I've had early nights. I've missed out on family dinners or family things, arrangements. I can't go to this party. I can't go to that party. I can't see them because I've got to be somewhere. And then we lose on a Saturday afternoon. I'm not going to spend all next week being miserable and sad and going, oh yeah, I need to get back in the gym, or I need to get back out on the training pitch and put it all right. No chance on this earth, mate. I've done everything right. Didn't go well on that Saturday afternoon. That's it. Live with it. Deal with it. But I do understand fans' frustration because, I think that the problem, not the problem, the fact of life is that these football fans, that is, some of them, it is their life. They have an emotional connection to that football team. And if they see somebody, a player, for example, that they support, or, they travel up and down the country, they spend real hard earned money on this sort of stuff. If they see a player who they don't think is taking it seriously, or might be sort of like making a joke of it or making light of it, that really affects them. That will really annoy people like that. But all I can say is, from my perspective, having been there and done it and known how it feels to play in their matches, that I gave everything I can, and that's all there is to it.
You make a lot of sacrifices as professional footballers. You both have. People don't see it. Like Asmir's made a lot going up to Liverpool to play for Everton. You spend a lot of time away from your family, don't you? You put a lot on the line to become a professional footballer. People don't always see that or acknowledge it.
No. We're living the dream, Asmir. We can't lie, are we? We're living the dream. We are absolutely living the dream. But the dream never comes without sacrifices. It's a fact of life, I think if you give probably the majority of the population the chance, they'd still probably do the same thing and say, yep, I'll be a footballer, but I'd make the sacrifices. And we'd do exactly the same thing. But we know that it does come with sacrifices. I think it's important to try and, you've got to get your head around it sometimes and go, I just can't do that. I know I can't do that. It's as simple as that. I say that, but I've just had 9 months of retirement, Asmir, and it was incredible. Honestly, Martin, it was the best 9 months.
But what did you get up to during that period of time? What did you do? Because obviously, like, your body takes an absolute battering as a goalkeeper, doesn't it? You must have been tired. You had the end of the Watford. Your time at Watford would have been tough. It was a tough season, wasn't it? And your body just must have been, I need a rest. What did you do?
Aching. Everything's bad. Everything's aching. And the longer it went on, so sort of off-season time went away, and then I remember getting to sort of July time, and all the lads started going back to pre-season training, and I'm seeing it all on their Instagrams and on Sky Sports. I'm thinking, cool, I'm not missing that. And then I remember we got to the start of August, and we actually had a family holiday book. Well, my wife and kids had a family holiday book. And I remember saying to them, listen, if nothing comes in, I'm just going to come on family holiday with you. And I remember nothing had come in. So we went to Portugal. I think it was about August the 10th or something like that. We went to Portugal for 2 weeks. And I'm thinking, this is incredible. I've never been to Portugal on August the 10th. Like, season's normally in full flow. And then that was 2 weeks there. We got back. Weather's absolutely banging. You get to go out on a Friday night for food with your friends and other family members and doing all this. I'm thinking, is this what real life is about? Like, you get this pure freedom, absolute freedom. You can wake up on a Saturday morning and play golf, Sunday morning and play golf. It was phenomenal, mate. Yeah, really, really good. So I just got into a mindset of I've done my 20 years as a footballer, and I'm going to really enjoy myself now. Cracked on with a podcast, cracked on with a YouTube channel, played a lot of golf, did things that I never got to do. But also, one really important fact actually is my body, like it just healed itself. All the little ailments, all the little bits and bobs and creaks, because there's no footballer playing, is fully fit. Nobody is fully fit. Everybody's got an injury. You're carrying something. You're working on something. You have to get in the gym every day to try and make sure this muscle gets a bit stronger or is ready for training. Something's hurting somewhere, especially as a goalie. Your hands will be busted, fingers. There's something, right? Everything just healed itself. I mean, absolutely everything. So when I did go back and sign for Wrexham, I had to say to the manager, I was like, listen, I want to do it and I'm going to give it everything I've got. I can't promise you I'm not going to get injured, though. I can't promise you that. I could, I haven't played football for 9 months. I could go and get injured next week or whatever. And he went, well, we'll just see how it goes, right? First few days in training, my body felt an absolute $1 million. I'm thinking, never feels like this. Why is it feeling like this? And it was just pure rest, pure time to rest yourself. That's what it was down to.
Well, that's the part I think people don't always understand, and I think it's important to educate people. That's the issue we have with the football calendar, is the fact that the off season is actually that short, and there's no scientific way to prove that we can't show that 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks is not enough. It's not enough for us to heal. It's not enough for us to get going again and build up again and get ready. And that's
even your head, though, isn't it, Asmir? Even your head, just like the pure break and rest of it mentally was just. I was so buzzing to go back and play for Wrexham mentally, just for I've missed this buzz. Like I want this now. It was like pure energy and excitement again. That's the bit that people don't understand that side of it either.
No, absolutely. That's something I wish we would almost cram the calendar in a little bit more. The COVID year always showed us a little bit, because the season started late and finished at the same time. So I'm thinking, why?
You can do it, yeah.
Why? Yeah. Why is it not done all the time? Because you know what? It could give us an extra month in the summer. So
I'm with you. I think you might have thought of something there. I do, genuinely. I totally agree with you, mate. As a footballer, I would much rather play Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, then play the following Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. If you could do that, Premier League, mate, you'd get the season done in probably, about 25% quicker, 30% quicker. And then you, like say, you can have time then to have probably 10 weeks off or 12 weeks off at the end of it, and just properly shut down your body, shut down your brain. And then next season, you'll be fitter, stronger, raring, ready to go again.
Well, I'm not sure the FIFA powers.
Money, mate. They'll miss out on money. That's never. Yeah,
we've tried that. We've tried that before. They won't listen to us. But just to go back now to your YouTube channel, everything you've done. I think one of the things I appreciate as well, I think from a professional point of view, Ben, is the fact that what you said earlier is that your preparation, your life, your consistency is there, and I think that's a really big thing for people. And I think aspiring goalkeepers to understand, you can never, one bad result should not change your preparation next week. You have to find a way to be as consistent as possible. I know it sort of becomes automatic. People call you a machine at times or whatever it is, right? But I think it's such an important lesson that you show people and goalkeepers, is that every week you're the same. You try. Of course, there's lulls and ups and downs. If we win a trophy, it's better. You lose 200-300 pounds, of course, you're a little bit down. But at the same time, you really focus on your work and your life and your preparation on a weekly basis very consistently. And I think it's absolutely incredible. And it's obviously why you've had the success for so many years.
Yeah, that's it. Completely agree. I think that's probably a life lesson in general, to be honest with you. For no matter what sort of business you're in, no matter what you're doing, relationship, no matter what it is, as long as you're doing the groundwork, you're working hard, doing it properly, you're doing it properly, you're doing the right stuff to get you prepared, that it's not always going to go swimmingly. It's not always going to go smoothly, but you'll have a little up, a little down, a little bit, but a bit more of an up, a little. But eventually, you'll see that graph just slowly going up like that, because that's doing it properly. That's how life works, basically. But don't let that result on a Saturday affect you next week. No chance on this earth. If you get pumped 5-0 and you've made 2 howlers on that Saturday afternoon, don't take that into Sunday. Don't take that into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Get before the game on Saturday and thinking, don't make a mistake. No. Worst thing you can do. You need to get that as soon as the game's gone. Try and get it out your head as quickly as you possibly can.
So important that.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a saying that, that I always go by. You're never as good as you think you are. And you're never as bad as you think you are. So
yeah, it's good. It's good. This is why I don't celebrate a save. This is why I will never celebrate a save, right? Because it could go out for a corner and you've got a corner to deal with. You've got a corner to deal with. So just be happy with it. It's inside smile, but then go, right, lads, we've got a frigging corner to deal with. Yeah, can we just deal with that, please?
Yeah, Andrew Lonergan said the exact same thing, I think, a couple of weeks ago. He said, well, I never celebrate, because what if that corner comes in and goes directly in, or just someone scores a header, or look like an absolute numpty? It's so true. But
I've got a question for you, Ben, actually, where Asmir was talking about that, like, you're starting your own YouTube channel. What was like your inspiration behind the Cycling GK? Was it your love for cycling? Like, I love cycling, so the minute I find out Ben Foster's into cycling, I'm like, oh my god, this goalkeeper I followed like all his career, he's really into cycling. So for me, I want to watch it because it started off a bit about cycling, didn't it? You out on the bike.
Yeah, it did. That's what it was. That's what it was supposed to be about initially. It was supposed to be about, because lockdown. Wow, how good was lockdown for cycling? Like,
amazing.
You'd go out on the road, Asmir. You'd go out, and there would be no cars anywhere, and the weather was incredible, wasn't it?
It's just a dream, Ben. It was the dream.
Very first lockdown period. No one was allowed out. Basically, roads were quiet. The weather was absolutely banging. So I was just out every single day on my bike. Honestly, every single day. And I thought,
yeah, me too.
You know what, like. And I was doing loads of stuff with the kids in the garden as well. Like we were lucky that we had moved into a new house, about a year before COVID hit, and we were out in the middle of like basically a farm. There was just fields everywhere. We had a big old garden and stuff. And I was doing stuff with the kids, like we were doing kind of like assault courses and fitness drills and stuff like that. And I was playing football with the kids and stuff. And I remember thinking, it'd be cool if I did start a YouTube channel, basically just showing how to get kids active. Because you remember Joe Wicks at the time? Joe Wicks was doing his live things every morning. We were doing that on YouTube with him.
Yeah, my girls were doing the same, yeah.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. So I thought, it'd be cool if we could do something similar to that, and just show how to be active. Like, especially as a goalie, you could do like footwork drills or goalkeeping drills. You could have a small little square of grass, but there's always something you can do. So that was the idea, basically. So yeah, we eventually got around to setting it up, and I wanted to just do like a load of cycling videos, this and that. And then I just thought, I'll take it to training, and I'll show you around the training ground. I'll show you what it looks like in COVID. And then I had the idea to, like, say, stick it in my goal. And once I put it in my goal, and you actually saw match footage, and then I put it out for the world to see, it was just, I remember I watched the footage back actually before the video got released. I remember thinking, this is pretty cool. This is from this angle. It's pretty cool because there's no fans in the stadium. You can hear everything I'm saying. You can hear everything the players are saying. So the communication, you get to hear all the communication, all the instruction, all the talking of right shoulder, left shoulder, don't let him down, show him down the line, all that kind of stuff, and how you buzz off people as well. Like there's a way to talk to certain people. Like this is a really important thing for kids as well, is learning about your teammates, learning about what appeals to them most. So I remember I used to have a right back who I could sort of get after a little bit more. I could demand more from him. I could say, Jeremy, no, you don't let him ever do that. You do not get beaten down the side again. And he would look at me and go, yeah. And I could see it was genuine, like I was giving him a challenge. Whereas my left back, Kiko, I had to be so softly with him. I did. I had to go, never mind, Kiko, never mind. Like, yeah, he got round you. Not again though, yeah. Don't let him do. Just like be extra careful next time. Yeah, cheers, Ben. Thank you. Because he mentally probably wasn't as strong as a right back. So you got to talk to him a certain way. And I think people just really enjoyed that sort of level of how to best appeal to somebody's nature, really. But yeah, it was. Yeah, that was probably the groundbreaking moment, was sticking that GoPro in the goal, and then from there it just blew up, and people were just basically demanding, you've got to keep doing this. You just got to keep doing this.
So good, Asmir, so good.
Yeah, what a genius idea, Ben. What a genius idea, and it's worked out amazingly. Talk about genius ideas. Would be you joining Wrexham.
Oh,
At the end of this season, we have to talk about it. It looked unbelievable from the outside looking in. Obviously, that race to the title and that battle with Notts County. What made you want to go Wrexham? How did it come around? And of course, tell us about that bit of a fairy tale ending to a season. What a fantastic way to gain promotion.
Yeah, what a story. Considering you've got Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney, proper Hollywood megastars. This whole thing couldn't have been written in any script any better than what it actually panned out and how it played out. So it's funny, I was literally out on my bike one day. So this would have been about best part of 2.5 months ago. I was out on my bike and I had my phone in my back pocket and I could feel it vibrating. I'm just thinking, I'll shut off, I'm out on my bike. And I'll never pick up my phone. I'll never answer my phone out on my bike. I'll just leave it till I get home. So I did that, finished my ride, got back home, pulled my phone out, and it was just pure messages and missed calls. And there's an agent I know called Richard Lee who, when he rings you, he's always got something for you. He's always got, there's a club interested or this or that. He's got some sort of news, right? So I straight away bring him back. Hi, Rich, what's up, mate? He went, got something for you. I went, go on. He went, Wrexham. How about Wrexham? I went, what do you mean? He went, well, goalie's just been injured. They've got 8 games left. There's 6 weeks left of the season. They're top of the league, 3 points clear, and they've got a game in hand. Notts County in second. They've still got to play Notts County. The manager basically just wants somebody with a bit of experience, somebody that might come in and the players sort of look up to a little bit. And I put your name in the hat. The manager said, yeah, give him a call, see if he's interested. And I went, oh, mate, I don't know. I don't know, mate. I don't know. So I went, we had a podcast later on that day, actually. So I went into the office, saw the boys, and I was just chatting to them about it. I was like, oh, Wrexham have been in, blah, blah, blah. And they was like, do it. You got to do it. And I went, oh, really? Like, really? I don't need that, lads. That sounds like long. I don't need that. And they went, oh, you for real? It's Rob McElhenney. It's like Ryan Reynolds. I went, oh, no, but still, like, and they went, no, go on, do it. And I went, I'll tell you what, I said, I'll speak to the manager and I'll see what the manager's saying, all right? So Phil Parkinson's the manager. I got Richard Lee to send him my number. He gave me a call and it was, he rung me up on Zoom, actually, right? He rung me up on Zoom and, honestly, he within about 10 minutes, he had sold it to me so well, like so well. He didn't need to say like, oh, we need you. He was like, he basically made a point of saying, listen, this isn't a mess around. Like, this is we are doing this properly. Yeah, we need to get promoted. It's a proper thing. If we don't, we're going to all be absolutely heartbroken. If you're doing it properly. And I want you to come here and do it properly and show everybody that you're going to do it properly. Because if you do it properly, everybody will fall in line and we'll get promoted. It's as simple as that. And I was like, yeah, all right. So that sounds like a challenge to me, like buzzing. Yeah, I'm having it. So that was it. And I was like, all right, cool, we'll do it. He's like, I need you in training tomorrow. Train Friday again, play on Saturday. And I went, yeah, all right, sound. So I came into training the first day. Trained awful. Honestly, I was so bad, like really, really bad. Hadn't caught a ball in months. In fact, the last time I'd caught a ball, I'd made a YouTube video with like Chris ND or somebody. Yeah, that's like the last time. Genuinely, the last time that I'd been a goalkeeper. Awful in training on the Thursday. And I was thinking, oh God. And I remember Mark Howard must have been looking at me, the second choice goalie must have been looking, thinking, oh, what have we done here? How am I not playing ahead of you? You're awful. But then on the Friday, in fairness, like I felt $1 million. I felt back to normal. Like I felt sharp. I felt like I was moving around the goal properly. Everything just sort of flooded back to me. So I had a really good session on the Friday. The manager came and spoke to me and said, "You good to go? You want to play tomorrow?" And I was like, "For sure, I want to play tomorrow, no doubt." And that's it. It all went from there. We won our first, I think, 3 games. We won, absolutely smashed the teams out the park. The lads are brilliant, by the way. For a National League team, the quality is so high. They're about a League One Championship level. Genuinely, they are. They're such good talent. But as lads as well, I really enjoy the lads. They're just proper good people, and they want to do it properly. But the Notts County game, that was the big one, basically, because we got beat the week before. Notts County just went on this winning run, like crazy winning run. So they shut the gap from a game in hand and 3 points behind to level on points, but we had a game in hand. So the Notts County game was a big one. If we'd have lost that game, they would have been above us because they've got a just slightly better goal difference. So that game was huge. And all the lads knew it. And we just got pumped the week before. And we started the game and I let in a 47th minute free kick. Yeah, 2 minutes into injury time in the first half, 47th minute free kick, good free kick. Not a lot can do about it. I'm thinking, oh God, don't do this. Come on, don't do this. We come out the second half and the lads were just incredible. Honestly, absolutely incredible. Just blew them away, basically. 2-1 up. We went and then back to 2-2, but then 3-2 up again. And we're into injury time. And I'm thinking, come on, lads, just see it out. And they get a penalty. 96th minute. 96th minute penalty, right? And it's the big one. It's Notts County. You've got Rob and Ryan are sitting up in the stands watching. And I'm thinking, oh, God, you don't need this. We just battled so hard. But you know what? A draw's not the end of the world. A draw's not the end of the world. It isn't, it keeps us 3 points ahead at least. It's not the end of the world. So then the guy that was about to take the penalty, the way that he sort of walked up to put the penalty, he looked really narrow. Like his body shape was really narrow. He kind of almost walked up straight. And then as he sort of walked back to sort of actually just about to take the penalty, again, really narrow. Like when I say narrow, I mean, imagine the ball there. His body was kind of there behind it. And I'm thinking, there's no way at that narrow angle you can open up and put it into the far corner with the inside of your foot out there. It's too narrow. Do you know what I mean? It's too much of a risk, especially in the 96th minute of the game. I think it's too much of a risk. The only way you're going to do it is try and basically put as much power through it as you can to like curl it into the near post, into my right-hand side. So I thought, I'm going to my right-hand side. And then when he hits the penalty and I'm going that way anyway, I'm thinking, oh, I've got to save this. It's savable. It's savable, yeah? And you never like I say, in training you'll make the save every single time, but in games sometimes your body goes a bit weird, like it is just what it is. But anyway, managed to make the save, and just for that I actually did celebrate that save. I'm so sorry.
Fair enough. I'll give you that one. Yeah, we'll give you that one.
And I've never done it before. I swear to you, you'll never find a clip of me making a save and then celebrating it. Like you'll never see it. So I've never done it, but I couldn't help myself. Like I just did it instinctively, just because I knew how much it meant to every one of our lads, right? So I remember getting up and sort of like punching the air, and I'm thinking, "What are you doing, you dickhead? Don't do that!" Because they had a corner. They literally had a corner. They whipped the corner in straight away. They got the first contact onto it. It was heading towards my back post, literally going into my back post, right? And one of our lads ran in, dived, headed it away. And then we cleared the ball and the full-time whistle went. So in the space of 30 seconds, saved the penalty. One got cleared off the line, full-time whistle went. It was like 30 seconds of the most, like if you could put that amount of adrenaline into a little bottle and kind of give it to yourself now and then, honestly, it's just like, it's goosebumps time every single time. It was so good.
That's amazing.
That's what football's all about.
Yeah, again, this is exactly what it's about. This is honestly, it doesn't matter what level you are. I played for England. I played Premier League. That was in my top 3 moments of all time in my football career. Honestly, it was. I promise you, it's one of my top 3 moments of all time. Just pure, absolute emotion and adrenaline and buzz. And it's National League. You're playing in the National League. People go, it's National League. It doesn't mean anything. It does, mate. It means so much. It's football.
They
it's
absolutely love it. The fans absolutely love it.
That's the power of English football as well, Ben. I mean, I've been around different countries, and at the highest level it comes close. But if you think about, this is the 5th tier of English football, and it was watched worldwide. And I get it, the owners, but the impact of it and how you can affect people is just unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And congratulations on the success. Obviously, the after party and the after season party looked amazing. We're excited to see where your journey takes you. But before we get into a bit of a thing we've done in season 3, Ben, is we do a little 5 quick fire questions at the end. But we are a goalkeeping brand, so we have to talk a little bit about goalkeeping gloves.
Oh, nice. I like it.
So finally, we get to goalkeeping gloves, which is great. What was your first ever pair that you put on? Do you remember them?
My first ever pair as a kid would have been Sondico. They were like the cheapy ones where you used to get like really horrible little strips of grip, little tiny, and on the back little strips of grip. You remember? It was like they were like cloth, but then strips of grip, and it was horrible. They were brutal. So that was the first. I remember I still remember them now. There was like green cloth with these horrible black strips. The first ever pair of actual fully latex gloves I had was when I was 15. My dad got me. They were these red mitre gloves. red mitre, right? And it was fully latex on the palm. And I remember thinking, oh, that's just next level. Like, that is incredible. And then getting into football, I was always, I basically worn Sal's my whole career. Like,
You've always worn a roll finger wrap glove, haven't you? Always.
Roll finger wrap. And I have stuck to it religiously. Like, I see so many goalies wearing like these mad cuts, negative, flat palm. And I'm just thinking, I don't know how you can do it. I just don't know how. I've tried them. No chance, mate. Absolutely no chance. Roll finger. They're absolutely beautiful. I've never wanted anything else. I've had chances and times where I could have signed with a Nike deal. I could have signed a big Adidas deal, but the gloves goalkeeping is such a mental sport, and you need to know you've got the right gear, the right stuff on your hands. And I couldn't go into any game thinking I've got the best stuff on my hands here if I would have signed for any of these big brands. So that's why I've always just been Sal's all the way through.
Have you ever had like specific requirements to your goalkeeping gloves? Because a lot of goalkeepers come with very specific requirements. It might be the thickness of the palm, it might be the way it's cut, it might be molded around their hand. Do you have any special requirements? Anything ever specially made just for you, Ben?
I want to hear Asmir's ones of these. Actually, I've got a slightly thicker palm, so I think mine are a few mil thicker, and I've just always liked a thicker palm, basically, and the strap. I have to have the strap done a little.
You have a wider strap, don't you?
It's a wider strap, but it's shorter in length as well, because I don't like it overhanging. I don't like it sort of flapping and free. Do you know what I mean? Like a dog's tongue or something. I hate that. So I have to have it cut, I think, an inch or an inch and a half shorter, so that it meets the very end of the Velcro when it's really tight. And they're the only things I've ever requested. Asmir, go on, give me yours. Have you got anything? Give me yours.
No, again, I'm actually quite boring, to be honest, Ben, with gloves.
Negative cut man all the way.
Yeah. Well, you'll see our range. We sort of do a traditional range. You rightly say it's the classic roll finger, classic negative cut. Really, really, really simple, normal gloves, just good quality gloves, which have been proved very popular. But now you have the new generation that have that whole strapless thing, crazy colors, long up to here. It's that's not for me, really. But it is what it is. Obviously, times move on. But I'm a simple guy when it comes to gloves. But same as you, I like a normal wrist strap, just a simple negative cut, 4mm latex palm. Straight out the pack, and I'm good to go. Know this.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't have to wash it 2 days, 3 days before. A lot of guys put stuff on it, glue, Vaseline.
Oh, no.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I just wear, like you said, once you feel comfortable in it, man, it's the key thing. As long as I feel comfortable in it, of course, I can trust the material. It's not going to rip, it doesn't really rip anyway, right? As long as I can trust it, I'm good to go. I'm really, really good to go.
I have to wear mine the day before. I have to wear it the day before in training. So once I've worn it in training, because I rub mine in mud quite a lot. I rub my palms in
just
mud
to scuff them up a little bit.
Yeah, just to scuff them up a bit, to get a bit of sort of like maybe a bit of sandy, kind of grainy sort of into the latex a little bit. I just feel it helps with a little bit extra grip. So I do that on the Friday. I'll wear them in training. I'll take them in the shower. And I normally wash them with whatever's in there. It could be shampoo. It could be, I don't know, shower gel. I'd literally stand in the shower naked with my gloves on, and I'm just sort of washing and doing that sort of thing. You get some funny looks, but it is what it is. And then I'll wring them out and I'll leave them damp, ready for the game tomorrow. So I'll normally put them in. Like the ice bags that you get in the medical room. They're big, thick bag, big, like thin bags. Sorry, I'll put both of them into one of them, palm on palm. And then I'll give them to the kit man, and he will bring them out for me just before matches, the warm up, and they're still damp and nice and good to go.
Yeah. There you go. How many pairs of gloves would you go through in the season? Sort of like in the peak of your career when you're playing week in, week out, training day in, day out. How many pairs would you turn over in a season?
Oh, well, that's a good question.
A lot.
I'd normally wear them for about 3 games. I'd get 3 games out of each pair. And I wouldn't really wear them in training so much. So if I played them on a Saturday, I'd have an older pair that I'd wear in training. I could wear a year-old pair in training. It didn't bother me. It's almost like I wanted to test myself with like a deteriorated grip or something, so I could try and really drill my hands in or whatever. So that on a Saturday, it's almost easier to catch the thing. So I'd wear them for 3 games, and then that would become a training pair.
I'm the same. I was like the little kid in me, Martin, as well. you know, because you know that feeling as a kid when you get a new pair of gloves. It's just it's the best feeling ever, and you think I'm just gonna catch everything, make every save. And by wearing those old gloves in training, I feel like when it comes to match day, I feel like that little kid again.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? I used to do the same with boots as well, Asmir. So when I was
Ben, you're a ledge with boots as well, by the way. Absolute ledge with boots.
So the boots was so it's the very same thing, right? So when I was contracted to a Nike or Adidas, it wasn't ever for gloves; it was just for boots, right? So when they bring a new pair of boots out, a new colorway, for example, you have to wear the new colorway in a game. You have to, yeah. You're contracted that you have to wear that new colorway in on the match day. So what I would do is I would wear the last colorway all week in training. I'd wear that colorway, and then I'd put the new colorway on a Saturday with my new gloves, and I would look down at myself in these new gloves and new boots. And again, big kid, 39 years old, playing in the Premier League, and I'm looking down at new boots, new gloves, but I don't care because I buzz off it, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to be on fire today. I'm going to be on fire today.
Have you kept many of your boots and gloves over the years? I know you pulled out boots from years ago and worn them in games and stuff. Do you keep a bit of it? Got a little selection somewhere
I've
at
got
home?
quite a few, to be fair. I've probably got 20 odd pairs of boots. I've probably got half a dozen, 10 pairs of old sales gloves from different years. I've probably got a 20-year-old pair upstairs somewhere. I've got loads of old boots and stuff.
Yeah, kept a load of shirts along the way as well, I bet.
Loads of shirts as well. Absolutely loads of them.
I've got to say, when we come to Cycling GK the other day, I couldn't believe the amount of shirts outside the FozCast room. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's some good ones
great
there.
Some great shirts, unbelievable.
They're all match-worn shirts. They're all
Are they?
sort of golden. Some of them have got like gold badges on. You know, like if I get off of Man City or whatever, it's got a gold badge because they won the league the year before. I've got some lovely shirts. And to be fair, they're not even the ones that I've got in frames. The ones that I've got in frames at home are just really special to me. I've got some massive shirts at home as well.
Love it.
That's nice. Well, Ben, this has been incredible. We're going to finish this podcast off with 5 quick fire questions. So nothing major. We're just going to go with a couple of things that people like to hear. I'm going to go first. We're going to alternate. Martin's going to go after me, and I'm going to start it off with the question of your most favorite stadium you've ever played in.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh gosh.
You've played in a lot of stadiums.
Yeah, I've played in a lot of stadiums. It's weird one really, but I just used to love playing at Arsenal. I always used to love playing at Arsenal. Their pitch is always the best. Genuinely, it is always the best. It is. You walk out and it's kind of you walk out and you have to walk up a little bit, and it's sort of almost like the grass is just below your eye line, and it's so flat, and it is like an absolute green carpet. It genuinely is like a green carpet. So I think I always look forward to playing at Arsenal a bit more. I used to hate playing at Liverpool. I used to hate playing at Man City, and I used to hate playing at Everton because Everton fans used to give me dog's abuse. Like they did not let up. Everton fans never let up, by the way. They are horrible. But I do appreciate it at least. Liverpool, you knew you were going to be put to test, and Man City, you were probably going to lose 6 or 7-0.
That's quality. I'm going to go for favourite game. What's the favourite game? Do you have a favourite game moment?
I've got 3 favourite. My whole career, 3 favourite moments was making my England debut. One moment in particular was when Gary Neville threw me the ball back from a throw-in, and I had Fernando Torres basically about to head my head because the only way I could get rid of the ball was to head it, and it still sticks out to me now. Like it's my England debut. We're playing against Spain at Old Trafford, but that one moment still just madly sticks out. I have got this picture at home actually. I've got this lovely picture of me diving full stretch. Looks like I'm making a worldy save, but it was actually the goal. And Iniesta curled one, beautiful, into the top corner. It was a token dive. I knew it was going in. I knew I just had to throw myself because it was on telly, so I didn't look like a plonker. But yeah, that was a bit special. The League Cup final when I was at Birmingham City, we beat Arsenal 2-1 at Wembley, and the full time. It's very similar to this Notts County moment actually. The full time whistle when it went was just like nothing I've ever experienced in my life. For the individual moment, that moment right there was just pure ecstasy. Honestly, it was just It was absolutely everything that trying to become a footballer and being a professional was about. It was encapsulated in that final whistle going. And then again, like I say, the Notts County, that 30 seconds of saving the penalty, corner getting whipped in, getting cleared, then the full-time whistle, that was just, right up there.
Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Your most favorite shirt swap?
That's a good one, Asmir. I like that.
Yeah,
there you go. It's on the topic of shirts earlier. I thought it was fantastic. There you go.
I'm gonna say my England debut, Casillas. So Casillas playing for Spain.
That's a good one.
Yeah, went up to him at the end. But he didn't ask for my shirt, by the way. He didn't. He didn't ask for my shirt, which I was buzzing with. I wanted to keep it anyway. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to keep it, so I've got it at home in a frame. And he was one of the first people to cut his sleeves off. So he used to play short sleeve, didn't he? Iker Casillas used to play short sleeve, but he obviously got the shirt as normal, but then he would cut them off, and it's got these horrible, like, jagged scissor marks on here where he's cut it. But I think that's got to be my favourite shirt swap. I've got Sergio Aguero's I've actually got at the office. And that was after they sounds bad, this one, but we just got beaten 8-0. I think Aguero had just scored a hat-trick past me, and my son's like a massive Aguero fan, so I had to go up to him full time. Well done, Sergio, fantastic hat-trick. Can I have your shirt, please, mate? Which is never a great one, but it's it's a funny story at least.
I get to finish with the final one, Asmir. I'm going to go with favourite roommate of all time.
Oh, it's a doddle. It's absolute doddle. Boaz Myhill. Boaz, what
a legend.
He is my favourite roommate. He's still probably one of my best mates in football. He was my number 2 goalie at West Brom for 7 years, right? And I could never have asked for a better number 2 goalkeeper. And you'll testify to this, Asmir. Having a good number 2 goalie who has got your back, has got your best interest, is going to be your cheerleader on a Saturday afternoon is honestly worth its weight in gold. It is one of the most important things. And Boaz Myhill did that for 7 years. And I remember at certain points, I was like, what are you doing? Are you going to stay? Are you going to stay another year? And he was like, damn right, I'm going to. He's like, I don't want to play. I don't want to play any football. he was like, I just enjoy watching you on Saturday afternoon. I'm like, oh, but honestly, he is the nicest guy, the funniest guy. He's taught me so much about how to be a human being as well, because he is so selfless. He is just genuinely down to the core, a good person, a real good person, funny, humble. What a wicked bloke, Boaz Myhill.
Yeah, he's got a great reputation in the game, and obviously a fantastic.
Yeah, he's top, mate. He's top.
I've got one more question for good measure, a fifth and last one, because you caught me off guard on the FozCast the other day when we did it. What's your hidden talent?
Oh, hidden talent.
You're a hell of a cook as well, aren't you, Ben? You're a really good cook.
I wouldn't say I'm a hell of a cook. I wouldn't. I think that's over-egging it a little bit. But yeah, when I left school, I worked as a chef for 2 years before being a footballer. So I do know. I know my way around a kitchen.
If there's any footballer's house I want to go to for dinner, it's Ben Foster's.
Yeah, I do. Oh, mate, I make some good dinner, to be fair. Sunday dinner in the Foster household is a big deal, to be fair.
It looks amazing. I'll follow it on Twitter and Instagram and
it's good, mate. Some of the meat joints I cook. Hidden talent is a good one. I'd say I sneakily play when I get a bit of spare time. I haven't done it for a while, but I play like video games, computer games. So I don't know if you've got a Nintendo Switch. Zelda. Have you ever played Zelda, guys?
Yeah, I know.
There's a game on Nintendo Switch called Zelda Breath of the Wild. It is the best game I've ever played in my life, right? I got to the point where I am researching online how to, not only finish the game, but finish the game, like a full end game player where I know everything. I've got everything. I've got every item. I have just got everything about it. So I knew everything about it again. They've just actually released a new one. And there's another video game called, and it's a little bit like Minecraft. It's called Terraria. It's a proper it must make me relax myself or something. It's like a world building game where you have to dig for new stuff and you have to merge items to make new items. And again, I'm an end player on that game where there's so much. If you look, so there's an account called Steam. Do you know what Steam is? It's like the online like dictionary to buy games. Basically, if you want to buy a game on the internet, you'll buy it on Steam.com. If it tells you how many hours you put into each game and that, and the amount of hours I've put into Terraria is it's silly. It's like 1,500 hours on Terraria alone.
Wow.
Ben, is Football Manager on Steam? Why does that name ring
Yeah,
familiar?
Football Manager's on Steam.
Why.
Yeah, Football Manager.
Because
Like I say, if you want to buy a game, that's not on but even PlayStation, you can buy it on PlayStation. But for like a Mac or a PC, you'll buy it off Steam.
That's why I know, because I had that same thing with Football Manager. I knew I needed mental help when I saw the hours. I was losing my life on that game.
It's the addictive personality. You'll be the same as me. I guarantee you, Asmir, you'll have addictive personality where you just need to channel it and like direct it in the right direction. But once you find something, that's it. You're in head and shoulders and like so deep into it.
Well, Martin, how good has this been? I mean,
Asmir, we've done a lot of podcasts, and I'm not just saying it. We're by far my favourite podcast by a long way.
Oh, fellas, that was lovely. That was, to be fair. Like, honestly, you came and did ours the other day. You did ours, Asmir, and again, Martin. We're not trying to blow smoke up your bottom here or anything, but you were so good, mate. Like proper good. All the lads. When you guys left, everybody was like, "Oh, what a guy! He's got everything. He's massive. He talks well. He's handsome. He's tan. Like he's funny. He's just got it." Like
so when he walked up the stairs, you just like said, "Mate, you are massive." I just thought
massive. Absolutely massive. Like I'm 6'3" and a bit, and like he's towering over me. I never remembered you being this big. I must be shrinking or something. You're massive.
Ben, I remember the first time I saw Asmir. I live on the Isle of Wight, and he turned up and played in a Portsmouth side that's playing against a local side in a pre-season friendly. And I remember they're all talking about this Bosnian international, and he made the goal look small.
What chance you got?
It's the name of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It does help, doesn't it? To be fair, it does help.
Yeah.
But Ben, honestly, I can't thank you enough for your time. I mean,
Ben, it's been amazing.
We've taken up too much of your time already, but it's been an absolute honor. So to everyone listening, watching, follow Ben at Ben Foster's on Instagram, FozCast, Cycling GK YouTube, Golfing GK on YouTube, I believe. Anywhere and everywhere, he's there. So make sure.
Asmir's on the FozCast as well, so make sure you check out the episode. It was unbelievable. A banging
episode, everybody. A really good episode.
What a guy, Ben, you are. I mean, what a respect I have for everything you do, and have done on the field, off the field. Keep doing it. Keep crushing it. Good luck with everything. Love to your family, and I'm sure we'll catch up very soon.
Likewise. Cheers, guys. Martin, legend. Asmir, absolutely top. Wicked. Absolute pleasure. Everybody at home listening, I hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.
Thank you, Ben.
Cheers, guys.